I really wonder why Islam is the truth. Can you give us an example?
Well, from a Christian background, the question why Islam is the truth is very easy to understand, because when you study the Quran, you realize all the prophets that came, that are mentioned in the Bible, they are also in the Quran. You realize that Islam is just the continuity of all this tradition, all this prophetic tradition where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent messengers and prophets to guide mankind, which makes sense. So when Islam come into the picture, you realize that Islam doesn't cancel all the belief I had as a Christian. It's actually adding. I just came back from Medina during my Ramadan, and when you visit the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, you also can see that there's a spot that is reserved for Prophet Jesus, right? So it's really showing you that Islam is acknowledging Jesus, is acknowledging Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the continuity. So Islam is the truth because God made the Quran in a way that it's always relevant. The things that has been sent to the Prophet ﷺ in the desert in the 7th century is impossible for him to know if it's not coming from God. And this is, I think, the biggest reason. My first answer is that it's the continuity, and the Christian just have to accept the last messenger, the last prophet, is the Prophet ﷺ. So for Christians, I think it's easier that way because they believe in God already. But for the people who don't believe in God, then if you're understanding the mathematical, historical, and then scientific miracle that the Quran provides to you, you are defeated. And that's why many scientific over the past decades have become Muslim, because they can't believe. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the body of Firaun will be an example for the world to see. And guess what? We found the body. And actually it was a French scientific, Maurice Bucaille, who studied about that. And he was amazed. So everything that Allah said in the Quran happened. Everything that he predicted happened. And it's much different than Nostradamus, who has a lot of mistakes in his prediction. The Quran never failed. That's why if you think about that, the people who attack Islam, they never attack the Quran. Relevance. Because they know they cannot. They know it is the truth. So they attack the Muslim, they attack some deviant sect of Islam, deviant practice, but they never really attack the legitimacy of the Quran, because they know it is the truth. Because if you want to debunk Islam, just debunk the Quran. That's it. Finish. But they can't do that. So they have to attack about the behavior of the Muslim. They have to attack uneducated Muslims. So then when people say, oh yeah, Islam must be bad. But if you look at the news and the propaganda against Islam is rarely against the Quran. Why they don't attack the Quran? Because if they attack the Quran openly with $1 million behind, a lot of people will start to read the Quran. And a lot of people will start to realize, hey, this is the truth. So that they don't want that. So what they do? They attack the Prophet ﷺ. It's easier to attack a man on making false assumption about him, but they're rarely attacking the Quran. All they can do is to burn the Quran. But they can't attack it on a scientific, intellectual, historical, mathematical level.